Hello, everyone. Today I'm going to tell you a story that even the person involved still can't believe actually happened. It was a morning that seemed calm, but in a matter of minutes, Yi and Julian's little house exploded as if a bomb had gone off because of a confrontation nobody saw coming. A normally quiet man finally decided to face the truth. And the village chief witnessed everything, then dropped a single sentence that left everyone speechless. "If you want to keep everything, then I won't give you anything." That one line opened a whole new conflict, and this is only the beginning of a series of shocking truths that are about to come out. If you want to know how Tai reacted after hearing that, and what made the village chief immediately warn Yi and Julian to be careful, don't go anywhere. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss the next part. Today's story is more intense than the storm raging outside. Let's begin. The afternoon wind blew through Ye's yard, carrying the smell of dry earth and that uneasy feeling that comes before a storm. Julian had just set down the basket of vegetables on the step when the old metal gate screeched loudly. Tai appeared. Her dark red dress stood out sharply against the simple house, and her cold gaze seemed to pierce straight through the two people standing in front of her. She crossed her arms, looked Julian up and down, then turned to Yi with a mocking smile. "Poor things. And you still think you have time to fall in love? Ridiculous." That sentence hit Ye's pride like an arrow. He clenched his fist, veins bulging, eyes turning red with rage. "Don't think everyone is like you. You're selfish. All you care about is money. You left me because I couldn't give you what you wanted." Tai let out a cold, metallic laugh. "I left because I wasn't going to stay and live in poverty. But look," she pointed straight at Julian, "and there you are, standing like you have any right. Yi and I are not divorced yet. Don't forget your place. If I don't agree, you'll never have him." Julian trembled with anger, but her eyes stayed steady. She stepped forward, placing herself in front of Yi. "You have no right to say that. You left with another man, you abandoned Yi, and now you come back demanding things? We don't need your permission." Tai gritted her teeth, eyes blazing. "So now you think you're brave?" Julian didn't back down. She lifted her head. "Let him go already. He may be poor in money, but he's rich in love and kindness. We chose each other for that, and we'll get through any hardship together. You already let him go. Do it completely." The air grew heavy. Even the wind seemed to stop. He stepped forward and stood beside Julian. His gaze was steady, his voice calm but full of determination. The whole yard fell silent. "If you want to fight for this house, keep it. Julian and I don't need anything from you. The only thing we don't want is to keep seeing your face." Tai froze. The fake confidence on her face crumbled little by little. She never expected the man who used to only stay silent to say something like that. Julian took Ye's hand. Her eyes softened, but her voice remained firm. "We chose each other, and we will protect each other. You no longer have the power to destroy that." Tai clutched her bag, lips trembling, from rage or from feeling cornered, no one could tell. She took a deep breath, turned on her heel, and walked away with heavy, furious steps. The gate slammed shut behind her. Silence returned, broken only by Julian's racing heartbeat after the most intense confrontation of her life. She let out a sigh and whispered, "Yi, were you scared?" He looked at her, pulled her into a tight embrace, poor in material things, but richer in love than anything Tai could ever understand, and answered, "The only thing that scares me is seeing you suffer. Everything else, I'm not afraid of." Later that evening, Yi held Julian's hand tightly in the yard. "No, I can't let this go on. Tonight I'm going to the village chief. With him as witness, Tai won't be able to lie or cause more harm." Julian looked up at him, the fire from the argument still in her eyes, but also a deep fear she was trying to hide. "Let me go get some firewood first." The stove went out. She walked to the back of the house, lit the small stove again, and sat by the fire. In the orange light, her eyes looked dark, full of thoughts. Finally she spoke, voice trembling but clear. "I'm not afraid of Tai. Her words and threats don't scare me. The only thing that truly terrifies me," her hand shook, is that one day you might leave me and Maya. Ye's heart tightened. He knelt in front of her, placed his rough hands over hers, and said, "Look at me, Julian." She raised her red eyes. "I will never leave you or Maya. Never." He pulled her into his arms. "Thank you for trusting me, for standing by my side even though I have nothing but love to give you." Julian broke down crying, clinging to him like he was the only safe thing in the world. He knew it was time to end this once and for all. He went inside, took an old folder containing the temporary residence papers, their old marriage certificate, proof that Tai had left the village 2 years ago, and records of the debts she herself had caused. Those yellowed, dog-eared documents were the only shield he had to protect his new life. Before leaving, he looked at Julian, who was wiping her face but stood determined. "I'm going to the village chief now. Wait for me at home." She nodded softly but firmly. "Go in peace. I will always be by your side." The next morning, under a misty sky, he stood in front of the village chief's house clutching the documents like they were his last hope. When the door opened, the chief motioned him in. But seconds later, the sharp sound of heels echoed. Tai appeared, elegant clothes unable to hide her exhausted face and the slight tremor in her eyes. Yet the moment she saw Yi, her arrogant mask snapped back into place. "So you called me here to sign? Fine, I'll sign. If it benefits me." The village chief asked them both to sit at the wooden table. The air was so tense it felt like lightning could strike at any moment. He spoke first, calm but firm. "Today I brought you both here to settle this clearly. You already agreed to the divorce in principle. Now we put it in writing. We can't let this drag on." Tai leaned back in her chair like she still held all the cards. "I'll accept," she said sweetly, but with venom. "On one condition." Yi frowned. "What condition?" She tapped the table with her nail and smiled coldly. "I want full ownership of the land that's still in both our names. Transfer everything to me, and I'll sign right now." Dead silence. Yi froze. The village chief's face hardened. "You want the entire land? You left 2 years ago. You contributed nothing." Tai shrugged. "My name is still on it. The law is the law. If he wants to live peacefully with his new woman, he gives me the land. Simple." Yi began shaking with rage. He stood up so fast his chair screeched. "Tai, all these years you were gone, I never asked for anything. You lived well. I never said a word. But now you come demanding the land. The only thing I have to support myself and Maya? That's too much." Tai shot to her feet, face red. "I left because you're poor." Yi slammed the folder on the table. "Be quiet. You left with another man. The whole village knows it." The chief tried to calm them, but Tai was spiraling. "I don't care. If you don't give me the land, I sign nothing. Want to live with Julian? Keep dreaming." Yi looked her dead in the eyes. The anger and pain were gone, only cold resolve remained. "If that's your game, if you're going to use the land to keep me trapped," he paused, placed his hand on the documents, and said slowly, "then I won't give you that land or anything else." Tai went pale. "What did you say?" "I will ask the court to recognize that you abandoned the home, failed in your duties, and contributed nothing. I'd rather spend years in court than bow my head and hand you everything." The village chief nodded firmly. "I will be Ye's witness. That land was built by the two of you when you barely had food to eat. No one can just take it like that." Tai stepped back, clutching her chest. She never thought the gentleman she once controlled would stand up to her like this. You dare defy me?" "It's not defiance," Yi replied. "It's the first time I'm protecting my life." He turned to the chief. "I'll file the papers tomorrow. I won't let someone like her destroy my life anymore." Tai's lips trembled. "You'll regret this. You'll come begging." He gave a small, bitter laugh, painful, but freeing. "I regretted loving you. But today is the first day I'm no longer afraid of you." Absolute silence. Tai looked from her ex-husband now completely out of her control, to the honest village chief who couldn't be bought. For the first time she realized her threats were worthless. She bit her lip, spun around, and stormed out, slamming the door. Her heels echoed down the path like a final, defeated war cry. The village chief sighed. "Yi, be careful. When someone like her has no way out, she's capable of anything." Yi nodded. He knew the worst was still to come.